Hey, this is the Headset Historian, and today I wanted to talk about head straps for the Quest 3. Specifically, I want to talk about head straps that are similar to the Quest Pro design, so the open design, floating off face. So that personally is my favorite type of head strap design. I fell in love with that with the Quest Pro, and I've been struggling to go away from it. So my idea was any pancake headset you get, pancake lens headset like Pico 4, Quest 3, even though those are designed with the traditional type of gasket that covers out the light and is more so distributing the weight along your face, around your eyes. Because it's a pancake headset, because you have the weight close to your face, it should be relatively easy to modify these headsets to have a similar form factor as the Quest Pro. So today I'm going to show you two different options that I've come across. Both require modding the headset, so they're not first-party peripherals from Meta or anything like that, but they're both pretty trivial to put together if you do decide you want to go with one of them. So I thought I'd talk about them today and kind of give you some ideas. So the first one is this design here. So some of you may know this headset or this head strap already. This is the Vive Deluxe Audio Strap, or the Vive DAS as it's referred to commonly. So this is a pretty good head strap. I personally really like this head strap. I find the way it cups the base of your skull, this part here and stuff, I find that to be brilliant. The audio it's okay. It's not index level audio. It's better than Quest 2 audio. Compared to the Quest 3's audio, I'm actually on the fence. I think I might actually prefer the Quest 3's audio to the Vive DAS's audio in terms of the sound stage and sound quality. But I do like on-ear headphone design, just because often I run an air conditioner or a fan because wearing a headset gets hot, which is part of why I like the open design so much. But anyway, I do like having that on your ear design to kind of block out sound around you. So anyway, you have the Vive DAS, you have the 3D printed adapters. I'll put a link below for any 3D printed parts, they'll be in the description. And then we have this facial interface that's been 3D printed also with a random head cushion. So I'll see if I can give you a better look at it. So hopefully you can see that well enough. I don't actually have any way to see the video at the same time as I'm recording it. But anyway, you can see that this isn't a light blocker. This is just a plastic gasket for sitting in. And then this is simply some Velcro tape. And then we have this forehead cushion that I've applied here. And the idea is that the forehead cushion sits on your forehead like the Quest Pro would, and then you have the top head strap, and you then have the open design. And this was made by someone in the community. You'll find it on Thingiverse and perhaps Printables, but like I said, I'll put the link in the description. And then I've also added a counterweight to the back. I feel like a counterweight is pretty crucial, particularly if you're going for this type of design. If it's front heavy at all, it's not going to sit right on your forehead. So this is the first one I'll talk about. This is the Vive DAS one. You could also, or more specifically, this is the 3D printed facial interface. That's the important part of this, not the Vive DAS. You could use this, you could do this mod with a Elite strap or a Kiwi strap or whatever, you know, whatever head strap you have that's kind of this design, like the Elite strap design, where it's not a halo design, it's not touching your forehead. Whatever head strap you have like that, you could 3D print this part off. I'm sure people are probably selling it on eBay or something like that. I 3D printed it myself, so I'm not sure where you could get it, but there's different websites you can just send them a 3D printable file. So yep, what I will say, I had very high hopes for this because I do love the Vive DAS head strap, and I do find it to be more stable. So other head strap designs, for example like the Vive Pro design or the IMAX Crystals head strap design, those types of ones that don't cup the back of your head, I find they move on your face too much. There's too much inertia. So I had pretty high hopes for this. Unfortunately, as of right now, I haven't been able to get it to work well for me. The main reason is around the nose piece here. When pressure is applied here, it seems like, and this might just be the shape of my head, and that's always the risk with anything like this. You really have to try it for yourself. But when I put pressure in here, this tends to squeeze in a bit, and then it kind of comes into my nose. So if I could find a way, maybe 3D print an extended one so it doesn't come quite so close to your face, because it's actually too close to my face, which is a pretty, usually that's not the problem that you have, but it's too close to my face, I find. So I'm preferring to, yeah, maybe like put in more Velcro or something, or a larger forehead cushion to try and get it further away from my face. But so far I've found this painful, to be frank. The potential of this is great, and I think for certain face types and face shapes it's probably going to be really good. Just personally for me, it didn't work out. Maybe a more rigid material. This material is quite rigid, but I feel like it has some give. I will say this 3D printed part is incredibly well designed. Like the way it clips in perfectly into the headset, so it feels, you know, a lot of 3D printed mods, when you try to clip them in or something, they feel very squidgy, or they don't feel like, you know, really that great. This is very, very well designed, so big props to the creator for this. But yeah, like I was saying, this part here, maybe if I got rid of this part it would be better. Maybe it might not need this at all, but I found that this part cut into my nose, and it also just, it wasn't sitting as steady on my head as I would like. So I do clamp the headset very tightly. So if you're someone that finds yourself clamping the headset tightly and doesn't want it to move at all, then this probably isn't the mod for you. I just wanted to bring some awareness to it. I think it could be a very, very good mod for some people, and it's definitely worth trying. And you know, if you got it, if you have a 3D printer, then, and you already have a head strap, then this is going to be a very cheap option. You know, the material cost to print this off, we're talking maybe €1 or something. So it's really trivial cost if you already have a 3D printer. If you don't, then it quickly gets more expensive and quickly doesn't make much sense. But it's not a bad option. I think if I spent more time tweaking it with a different head cushion, maybe try to modify the design a bit to come out a bit further to kind of suit my own face shape, it could actually be a really good mod. Just I'm gonna try something here. I've got this horrific head that I found in my house yesterday randomly. I didn't get this for any specific purpose. It looks like it's been attacked multiple times. So if I suddenly disappear and show up in an alleyway with similar head wounds, then just know that it's someone close to me has done this. But yeah, I found this head. I'm not totally sure what it's for, but for this purpose it'll serve its job. So this might be a struggle to get in shot, but I'll give it a try. So just so you can see what it's like clamping this on and maybe get a better idea of the issue that I was having. So you can see it's sitting against the forehead as it should, and then we'll try clamping it in on this horrific head. Oh my god, this is a ridiculous way of going about this. Okay, all right, so that's kind of going all right now, actually. All right, so here, this head shape, it actually honestly looks like it works really well. It's very hard to tell, but you can see that it's coming in too close. It's touching the face already, and the nose there, if I clamp it in a bit further, you'll see this part starts to come away from the headset and kind of touch into the nose. So that's something that tweaking the design to be a bit more personally suited might work well. But overall, this is a pretty good design, I will say. And yeah, like I said, if you have a 3D printer, highly recommend checking it out and giving it a shot. It might work perfect for you. For me, unfortunately, it didn't work out as I had hoped, and I'm going to return to it at some stage. However, I do have a head strap design that's been working very, very well. I had it in a short a couple of weeks ago, and that is the Bobo M2. So just to show it here quickly before I put it onto the headset, this is the Bobo M2. Now you might notice one crucial difference that's not typically on the Bobo M2, and that's this top head strap. So for reference, this is, I believe it's a AMVR head strap for the Pico 4. I'm pretty sure that's where I got this from, but any top head strap will work. I find the M2 is brilliant. Like, this is a fantastic head strap, but I find putting the top strap on it really elevated a lot further. And what you can see here is I've got 3D printed parts again, and I'll post the link for those in the description. It is a very, very well designed mod, but I would recommend, if you don't have a Bobo M2, then just buy the Bobo M3. If you have the Bobo M2, try to get the retrofit kit. They are out of stock the whole time, and I am going to get the retrofit kit when I can, when they're in stock, to replace this. But for now, if you have a 3D printer and you've got an M2 already, this is a great choice. So there's a main benefit of this is that you have obviously the battery bank. So I will say, for the other head strap, or for the other 3D printed type mod, you could use the Elite battery bank strap, or you could just mod on a battery bank onto the back of this instead of the counterweight. Don't base your decisions solely on the battery aspect, although this does come built in and it is interchangeable. It's just a heads up that, that shouldn't be the be all end all. I would go for comfort and personal head shape first. This type of halo head strap design, just to be aware, if you haven't tried it before, it seems to be a bit of a Marmite type thing. You either love it or hate it. I don't really see people in the middle. For people who this works for, they absolutely love it, and vice versa. For people that it doesn't work for, they loathe it. So yeah, you really need to get trying one of these head straps, and that's the unfortunate thing about comfort with headsets, is just that it's so dependent on individual head shape. There's no one size fits all, and it's very finicky. There's a lot of different attempts you have to make. Something like the Big Screen Beyond, even that will still have some people that find it uncomfortable, but that's best case scenario, where you're probably talking like 98% of people will find that comfortable, while a small number of people, just for whatever reason, whether it's maybe they have particularly deep set eyes or something or other, that they might find it uncomfortable. So here's the headset by itself, and then for the Bobo M2, I'm going to leave on this clip. So this clip's actually for the Vive DAS, but I find trying to feed through a head strap lead into this part here is really difficult, and also I feel like I'm blocking too much of the ventilation there, which it's probably pretty minor because it's ventilated all around here, but I'd rather just use this wee clip. So it's just a little bit of Velcro and that, and this, then it's really simple. You can just slide it on like you would with a reel, or with like reel, but you know what I mean, with the normal default one. So you just slide it on, and that's it really. And then you get it as close as you can if you want. I put it extremely close, and I find it works very well. I know this might seem a bit rough, like I'm going a bit hard, but it the tolerances on the 3D printed design are quite tight, which is what you want because it'll sit on it well, but it does mean that it is sometimes you can have to shove and push it on a bit. So I suppose that's one thing. There's one caveat, is anytime you're going to mod a headset, you do need to be careful. You are running risk of doing some damage. It's very minor risk, but it is what it is. This is what the headset looks like now with the M2. So this is the M2 with the 3D printed adapter, and then this plugs in to charge it. And I wear it quite low on my head like this because I wanted to cup the base of my skull similarly to how the Vive DAS does it. So I find that does actually help with the weight distribution, because this is extremely, when this is low here, this is bang down the middle. It's extremely balanced, and the head strap also helps a lot with that, with the weight distribution. So this, I don't put the facial gasket on at all. Now this is one very nice aspect of this mod also, is that if you wanted, you can just put the normal facial interface on as is. So for example, with my partner, when she uses this headset, sometimes she doesn't like having the open design. She prefers a closed design, but instead of having to take apart the whole headset, yada yada, I can just pop the facial interface in, and there we go. I'll try putting it on the horrific head again, so you can see. And yeah, previously one of the downsides to the Bobo M2 that would have made me not use it in the past was the audio, but now that the audio in the Quest 3 is so improved and I don't need to include an audio solution, then yeah, that's just not an issue anymore. But yeah, so let's try This is so ridiculous. All right, we slide this lovely, horrific skull, this polystyrene nightmare, and there you go. So you can see, I don't know how much of a benefit that is for you, but you can adjust it. So I actually wouldn't have it quite that close. I would have it, that's about right. Yeah, so the way right now, I look at the speaker and I look at the distance there, and that kind of gives me an idea. So that's about a finger width from there, I find is good. And you can see my nose and face, it, you know, your shape's going to be different, but you can see that it's just hovering off the face. But there's a lot of weight put onto these top pads and the head strap. Obviously this isn't sitting flush, it's not sitting quite right. I'm assuming the proportions for this head are what a human's head would be like, so maybe this is a person that this wouldn't be comfortable for, or, you know, you just adjust it as need be. So you do have quite a few points of articulation here, which you don't have with the other design. You know, you can tilt this, you can tilt these arms, you can slide it in and out. So this is, I must say, an incredibly good head strap design for the Quest 3. More so even than the Quest 2, because obviously it was originally designed for the Quest 2, but having it without the facial interface and then on these arms coming out, the level of control you have over how close it is to your eyes, the angle that it's at, it's pretty remarkable. I can't think of any other head strap design that allows you to have that much articulation and control. So for that reason, I absolutely love it. The only issue I have with this, the only thing that isn't, you know, borderline perfect, is that there is some inertia. It's not clamped to my head. Like I do clamp this very tight to try and get as little inertia as possible. What ends up happening is, yeah, if you're shaking your head from side to side, it will wiggle a bit. I gotta say, when I'm playing a game, I've actually never noticed it, but it's like when I'm testing it out, when I'm trying to get it fitting comfortably, it kind of niggles away, just like, oh, okay, this is moving about my face a bit, but really I've never actually had any issue in a game. The only issue I have is, like, over time, you know, this part might slightly move about or slightly adjust, so I have to just reset it a bit. But we're talking, like, I played for like 2 hours the other day, and I done that once in 2 hours, so that's really not a big deal. And I also believe that the retrofit kit or the M3 would solve a lot of that issue too, because this 3D printed part, actually one of the top parts snapped a little bit on each of them, so it's probably not fitting as well as it should. So this probably could be more rigid. You know, you could even just cable tie it down if you wanted to really get it solid as possible. But yeah, I'll stop rambling now. Hopefully that gives some insight. Hopefully that gave you an idea of those two options. This head strap, the M2 with, you know, the retrofit kit, or the M2 with a 3D printed adapter, or the M3, this Bobo VR one is by far my recommended choice if you want a Quest Pro open air design. You know, if you're not interested in the Quest Pro open air design, then you've got a lot more options. You know, you could try the Elite strap or whatever else. The other head strap that I showed off, which is pretty much just this facial interface, I think this could be a great option for many people, you know, particularly if you're trying to go for a budget and you've got a 3D printer, or you know someone with a 3D printer, or even check out your local library. There's actually, you'd be surprised, there's quite a few libraries these days that have 3D printers available. But yeah, this definitely worth a try if you have a 3D printer or whatever. And I think with a bit more tweaking, maybe a different head cushion, this could be a really good design. And this would actually be likely more similar to the Quest Pro design than the other one. However, that level of articulation and level of control that you get with the Bobo VR one, I really don't think I can give that up. Finally, I will say that the Quest Pro is still more comfortable than the Bobo VR for me. The Quest Pro is just more solid, it's just more well put together, and it's designed to be that way. If the Quest Pro is a 10 out of 10, then the Bobo VR with the Quest 3 is a 9 out of 10. You know, it's almost as good. It's very, very close. It's just not quite as good. That's something we're considering, but really, that 1 point off, I can live with that, you know. And I do like the versatility then of, you still can put on the light blockers or the original facial gasket if you want to. So yeah, I hope this video was interesting. I hope it maybe gave some insight, and if you have any questions or need any advice on modding like this or anything else, or if you want me to check out some other 3D printed mods and post about them, then please let me know. Also, another interesting point is I will be getting a Pimax crystal again. It should be arriving tomorrow. This will be my 4th Pimax crystal. I had 3 before, and then for financial reasons I had to sell the last one that I had, so I'm getting one for 3 months from tomorrow, so that's coming direct from Pimax, so that'll be interesting to try out. I want to see kind of where they've gotten with it, where it is now, so I'll be doing some videos about that, and I'll be doing some more Quest 3 videos. So I want to compare the Quest 3 with the crystal. You know, not really apples to apples, they're very, very different category of headset, but I still think there's some interesting things to check out there. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all soon.